It took me 7 years to make the identity shift. It took my entire 20s for me of working harder, but working harder is quietly killing you. And I know you're tired, and you're not tired because you're doing too little. You're tired because you spent years fighting the wrong battle the entire damn time. You have low energy, and then I would go get on different supplements. I didn't like my body, so I would train harder. I plateaued, so I would try a completely different strategy. And that's the problem. That's why it took me so many damn years. I was relentless. I was disciplined. I was completely exhausting myself. And the reason why I was doing all of that is because I wasn't aligned. And until I stopped attacking myself, I didn't make any progress. And then 6 months later, my energy, the body that I wanted, and the performance that I've been looking for years just instantly happened just like that. And I made the damn shift. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your results keep snapping back more than a pregnant woman. I don't know why I said that. And it's raining right now. There's a storm happening, so you probably will hear something in the background, but that will not stop me from making this video. So I'm going to explain to you the internal system that makes your body, your income, the energy, all a natural byproduct of your identity. And the first thing that I'm going to explain to you is the first 3 games that everyone plays. Then I'm going to explain to you the thermostat that keeps dragging you right back to your old version of yourself. And then I will explain to you the 7 hidden settings that is running your mindset and running your entire character. And I know what you're thinking. If you're thinking, oh, I don't have time for this, I just want the results, Fonzie. Look, I was the same damn way, but all of this stuff is not fluff. It is the mechanics. It is the foundation. Okay? And the reason why all of your hard work and hustling and grinding has not been materializing into actual results, this is the reason why. I'm going to show you. It is raining and I'm still going to get this damn video done. I don't care. All right? I do not care. So let me show you. Okay? So, in order to make the identity shift, right? There is a problem. You're a high performer. You're career orientated. You're working hard, right? You want to be in incredible shape. You're trying to do everything that you need to do. But the thing is that it only could get you this far. Everything that you have done has gotten you this far. And you're going to need a completely new identity to shift to get you to that next level, right? But the same thing, you're doing the same thing and you're wondering why nothing is working. You're changing up your supplements. You're trying out new strategies, right? You don't like your body, so what are you doing? You're just training harder at the gym, right? You're sweating. This is you. You're doing all of these things that are not really working. You think they are, but they're not. And all you're doing is you're just fighting the screen. You're trying all of these things to, get the body that you wanted, to make more money, to have more love, right? To get these relationships. But what you're not realizing is that you're trying to change the screen. You're fighting the screen. And the screen is the physical projection of this physical world that we're living in. So I want you to picture a movie, right? I want you to picture a movie screen, right? Like this. And this movie screen, you're trying to change the movie because you don't like what you see. That's the only reason why. You don't like what you see, so you're trying to change the movie with your bare hands. And us driven men, we do this our entire lives. We're fighting the projection, okay? The stuff that we're doing. You're working harder, grinding longer hours, trying to switch strategies all the damn time. But it doesn't really matter. And then what happens is you end up blaming what? Your genetics. You end up blaming what? The dating market. You end up blaming the algorithm. You end up blaming other people who work for you, who are on your side, right? And this has costed me my entire 20s because I was doing everything wrong. I did years of maximum effort, okay? And I was producing very mediocre results. or I would get good results that were temporary, and then I would drop right back down to my identity, right? And here's where it gets crazy, okay? The harder I pushed, the more frustrated I got because I was putting in so much damn work and I still didn't get the results that I wanted. I didn't get the body that I wanted, right? And the reason why is because you cannot fix this projection by touching the screen. Meaning, you can't change an effect with an effect. It doesn't work. You need to go to the cause, okay? The only way to change what's on the screen is to change what's running inside of the projector, okay? That is your mindset. That is your frequency. That is your internal world, okay? There was some lightning right now, okay? So I want you to understand you cannot change an effect with an effect, okay? And what most people are doing right now, right, is you're trying to change things by force. Everything changed the moment that I became aware of what I was actually doing, because reality is just a feedback system. It's just a mirror. And it takes your inner world, your beliefs, your identity, your emotional frequency, right? All of this, right? And it projects it out into people, events, circumstances, right? Your body fat percentage, right? The amount of money that you're making, the health of your relationships. All of it is just an output because your mind is the cause and reality is just the effect. All right? As it thunders. My mind normally is wired to see things in like a video game perspective because I believe that this whole entire life that we're living is just a video game. Honestly. It's the best video game that you can play. So life is a game, and the reason why I say that is because there are 3 games that every human being has to play. You only exist in these 3 planes. Okay? The first thing is the mental game. And that is where your thoughts, you get those ideas, right? How you think of yourself, that is the realm of cause. Okay? And I want you to think the realm of cause as almost like it's clouds, there are clouds, and it's raining on you. And those ideas that are raining on you, they're raining down on your consciousness. And then that's when you get ideas. But you only can get ideas depending on the rate of vibration that you're running. And that rain is because the brain that falls down on you that you're able to absorb is entirely dependent on the level of mind that you have. So when you get that random idea, right? And then people ask you, how do you come up with that idea? How do you come up with it? You've seen those interviews, right? And they just say, oh, I don't know. It just came to me. It just came to them. Notice it just came to them and then they just took action. And that's it. Because there's a mental plane that we're all connected to. An idea that you get, someone else already has that idea. But it depends on the person that takes action in order to materialize that idea. Okay? And now the second plane, the second game that every human plays is the spiritual game. Okay? And the spiritual game is the realm of your emotions, your energy, your frequency. Okay? That's where it lives. So whatever you're thinking about most gets baked in, right? Whatever you're thinking about, those thoughts gets baked in with emotion, and then in order to materialize an effect, which we'll get into that later. The realm of being and emotion is the language of the subconscious mind. It's the language of God. It doesn't hear your words. It only feels your frequency, your emotions. Okay? And I want you to think of this part as like your heart. But I want you to think about it as it being sponge-like, to where it's very soft and sponge-like. The more stressed out that you are, the more you start hustling and grinding and doing all of these things, the more contracted your heart gets. And the more contracted that your heart gets, it's because you're squeezing it. And when you're squeezing it, it's impossible for you to absorb that water, right? All of that water. It's impossible for you to absorb it. And you're basically, like have an umbrella and You're not absorbing any of it. Okay? And you're not absorbing any new thoughts, any new ideas to get you out of the current reality that you have right now. So you need to, in this realm, you need to be relaxed enough and loosen your grip on reality in order to become more receptive, right? In order to absorb that water. So then you'll be able to put one foot in front of the other and take the necessary actions to materialize your result. Only when your cup has enough water, then, and that means that you have enough energy to put into motion, to pour into things. All right? That's basically how the spiritual realm works in a nutshell. Okay, you need to lower importance first. The physical game now. Let's talk about the physical game, okay? The realm of effect. The physical game is where your actions are, where your results are, all the matter, right? The world of ego, right? This physical 3D world that we live in. And your body, your bank account, the people around you, all that stuff is just an effect. It's just an effect. It is the physical world that we can perceive with our five senses. And it is the mirror that reflects out our mental and emotional state right back at us as your life. Okay? That is it. But here's the trap that everyone falls into, okay? Because we have this physical world here, okay? We have the physical world. But we are dependent on this physical world too much. We give attention too much to what we're seeing with our eyes and what we're feeling with our senses. Okay? But the physical world is just a little tiny sliver of the electromagnetic spectrum. It's 0.0035% of the entirety of reality. This is why all these traditions, all these cultures have different names for the physical world. The 1%, right? The world of Maya, right? There's so many different names for it because we all get sucked into this physical world. So I want you to imagine just a massive white wall like this. And the physical world is just that little dot. I don't know if you can see that little tiny dot right there. A little tiny dot on the wall. And that little tiny dot, that little tiny pixel is all that you're focusing on. It makes no sense. It's kind of dumb, if you ask me. Okay? So in order to change your reality, you need to change your mental, then change your spiritual, then the physical world will match you. It will reflect out what you need or what you're currently being. Okay? Trying out a new strategy, trying out a new technique, and trying out a brand new system without realizing that every single thing works. Every single thing works. But the problem is that you do not work. Because someone else made it work, but you can't. So the problem is not the thing. Right? The problem is that you are the source. And the world is just a reflection of that. So the problem is you. Okay? So I want to talk about a question that I've been having for years. The question that I had for years, right, is why the hell do we feel so stuck? Like every time something happens, why do I keep gaining the weight back? Why do I keep losing those clients? Why do I keep sabotaging the relationship? And why do I keep dropping the momentum and losing momentum as soon as I get it? You've watched it happen to other people too. You've seen the guy that loses all the weight and then by the end of the summer, he gains it all back. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's not the universe punishing him. He's not being punished. It's balancing him out. Okay? It's his natural identity. And this is the cycle that we all run. The same cycle. We feel so motivated. And we're like, yeah. We're going to take action. And then you feel proud, right? So you make progress. You're making progress. Okay? You're good. Right? And then when you start making that progress, you're feeling comfortable. And so you slow down a little bit. You're like, all right, I'm good. I made some gains. I made some progress. I'm satisfied. And then what happens is you slow down, right? And you're like, oh crap, I'm not making progress anymore. And so you start to feel pain, right? Because you know the gap between who you are right now and where you want to be, there's a gap there. You start to actually see it and feel it. And then what happens? You get motivated again. You're like, all right, I got to take action. I got to take action again, right? It's just a cycle that we all go through. Everyone goes through this. But I want you to imagine something right now. I want you to imagine, okay? I want you to imagine a room that's set at 72 degrees. Now, this room, right, that's set at 72 degrees, you can open up a window, you can do whatever, you can blast the heater, you can light a fire, right, in order to increase the temperature. But the second that you stop forcing it, the room goes right back to its original degrees, 72. And so your identity is the same exact way. Your identity is a thermostat. Your income, the amount of money that you make, your body fat percentage, the shape that you're in, the energy that you are embodying right now, the quality of your relationships, all of that are just temperatures that the system keeps returning back to. It keeps putting you back there because the universe is balancing you out. So you can white knuckle and grind and hustle your way to a different number for a while, but over a set time, if you can't maintain that identity, it's going to bring you right back down to your true identity. Okay? So that's what happens when you remove the fire, right? And the willpower will run out. You will not beat the universe. You can't beat it. Okay? So I want you to think, like, the reason why somebody has 10% body fat percentage and they're in incredible shape is not because of the diet or the workout that they're running. It's not because of that. It's because they have 10% beliefs, they have 10% thoughts running all the time, and they have a 10% identity, right? The identity of a person that has 10% body fat. The beliefs of a person that has 10% body fat. The thoughts that a person would have if they would have 10% body fat. That's why. So the same thing with your bank balance. It's the same thing. Again, you can transfer this and apply it to all the pillars of your life, right? The reason why people have a 10K a month bank balance is because they have 10K a month beliefs, they have 10K thoughts, and they have a 10K identity. Okay? I try to find something else to put 10 on it, but I put 10-year bond, right? Holding a relationship for 10 years. Some people are like, there's no way. That's too much, right? They have the belief of 10 years. They're completely committed. They have the thoughts of a 10 years. They're extremely loyal, right? And they have the 10-year identity. They're committed. They have the identity of someone who's looking long term, right? But I said you can just extrapolate this to anything, okay? They have the identity. So the weight is never the problem. It is the profile that you are running that produces the number, just produces an output, right? It's just like this body fat percentage is just what the universe prints out for you because of what you put in. This is why I never understood the whole try harder and, make the shift and, you just need to put more effort in. It's like, if that would work, everyone would do it. But it's dumb advice. You don't need to put more effort in. You don't need to try to be more masculine. You just need to reset your thermostat and then get completely aligned to who you need to be in order to accomplish your goals. So every time that you're doing something that you shouldn't, you're going to suffer every single time. Okay? You're going to suffer because you're forgetting who the hell you actually are. So a person, right, has the 10% mindset, which is the magnet, right, of their mind. Then they have 10% frequency, right? They're calm and relaxed, and they have the energy. They're embodying the energy. And then they're taking the actions of someone that is at 10% body fat. That cannot happen. It has to happen in order. First, you need to install the mindset and have complete clarity. Then you need to embody and have the connection of who is that person and the identity and be calibrated to their state of consciousness and their emotional state. And then you will be able to take action. But you won't be able to take action unless you do these things. And then you need to hold that frequency for long enough in order for you to materialize your desired result and enter and live in your desired reality. All right? That's usually how it goes, guys. And so I'm going to talk about next the 7 attributes that every single person has in their mindset. Okay? The 7 attributes of mindset. Okay? When you go inside and you play a video game and you build your character, right? You set the attributes, you know their strength, you know their starting stats. And from that moment on, that character's ability and what it can do becomes entirely dependent from the profile that they're running, right? And here's the problem. Most people never consciously build their own character. They don't. It was just built for them based on your parents, based on your environment where you live, based on your childhood traumas, based on those opinions of those people that you didn't even want to be like, but you still absorbed their beliefs. You still took what they said into consideration, even though you don't even want to be like them. And then you wonder why the whole entire game feels rigged. It's not rigged. You're just running the wrong profile. So what works for someone else is not going to work for you because you have a different profile. You have a different build. You have a different mindset. And your profile is your identity. Okay? And it's made up of these 7 attributes that I'm going to go over. And you need all 7 because that's the entire blueprint of what makes up someone's mindset. Okay? So, number 1 is beliefs. No, beliefs is number 1 here. Okay? Your beliefs are just the rules that you accept about reality. It's just the rules that you accept. There's no such thing as a truth, only half-truths. And whatever you believe just becomes your reality. All the stuff that you absorb from your friends and your family, from the news, from scrolling social media, you forged some of those experiences not just by observing things, but also from your past experiences, from that breakup that you went through that almost destroyed you, from that health scare that made you really get into the gym and really take care of your fitness, from that betrayal of that person that you were so damn close to and they betrayed you and they stabbed you in the damn back. All of these things, they go right inside of your subconscious. And you can't tell the difference, okay? A belief that you inherited back then at age 7 and the beliefs that you inherited from your social media algorithm is the same thing, right? Depending on the emotional intensity that you give it, it will be reflected out into your actual life. And that's why most beliefs are actually steering your body, your business, your relationships right now, even though you never chose. It's driving for you, your subconscious mind. But you just never question why, okay? So the whole point of your belief is to find that core memory, right? That really evicts a really strong emotion from you, okay? For example, that says, like, if you're struggling with weight, maybe it's the belief that I'm just someone who just gains it back anyways, right? And you need to delete that belief and reverse it at its root, okay? Belief system number 2 is your perception. Your perception is not like a camera recording what's there. That's not how the mind works. It's just a projector. It just paints the pictures, okay? You can put 2 men in the exact same room. One sees opportunity and another one's going to see a threat. It doesn't really matter. Why? Because they live in completely different realities. They live in completely different frequencies. They live in their own world. Right? Nothing is neutral. There's very little things in life that are actually completely neutral. There's nothing neutral. Something's either pulling you towards your goal and you're aligned with it, or something's holding you back and actually stopping you from achieving your goal, and it's set up as a wall, as an obstacle. So the dude that really perceives the dating market, for example, he thinks that, everyone is a cheater and he's never going to find his woman, is literally sabotaging his own self. Because even if he meets that good girl, he would just think that somehow she's probably like a hoe, right? The other guy would completely see it and actually give her a chance, and that could actually potentially be his wife, right? I'm just giving you an example. Because another man might see it, and there's doors that are locked in this world, and you think they're locked. And you know that there's someone else in your reality that's living your life right now that just opens the doors with ease. Because he's that guy. Right? So if you change the lens in which you see the world will give you different information. Okay? So that is perception in general, how you view things. Number 3 is thoughts. Okay? You have around 60,000 thoughts a day. And most of them is the same thought you had yesterday, and they just disappear the second that you think of them. Because they don't have a real strong enough emotion behind it. But the ones that shape your reality are the ones that are soaked in emotion. Emotion is that activator. Okay? That's why worrying is so damn powerful and puts you in a low vibrational state. And yes, that's manifesting too, even though I don't like that word. I don't like that word manifestation because I think the whole spiritual community has kind of, given it a bad rep. And honestly, is the reason why I never really got into this stuff to begin with. But most men are living unconsciously. They're asleep. And they're just giving their energy to stuff that they don't want. And honestly, a lot of people are mentally rehearsing failure. You're mentally rehearsing the rejection. You're mentally rehearsing that relapse that you're going to have off of getting rid of your vices. Right? And you're doing that with full emotional intensity. And then you're wondering why the hell is showing up. And then you're like, oh yeah, I was right. Yep, I knew this was going to happen. Of course you knew that was going to happen because you're always right. No matter what you think, you're always going to be right. Okay? Number 4 is attention. Attention. Attention is so powerful because attention is our most valuable currency that we have in today's day. Attention is the most valuable resources that you can own. So where your attention goes, your energy flows, and that's a fact. Whatever you give your energy to is going to expand. No matter if it's good or bad, it doesn't really matter. And this is just a fundamental law. This is not no woo-woo stuff. For the most part, you can take your single most powerful creative tool, which is the flashlight, right? That's your attention. And you can shine it all day at your problems, right? You shine it at the monster every single time. You shine it at the depth, right? You shine it at how tired you are, right? And you're staring at stuff that you don't want to stare into. And you're pouring your life force into that thing. And then you don't understand why the monster is growing. Because you're shining the light on it too much. You're paying attention to it. Okay? So you're always going to be feeding something with your attention. Just make sure it's the right thing. Okay? Now number 5 is conviction. Okay? Conviction. It turns your thoughts into unshakable inner certainty. Certainty is one of the most powerful things in life in general. Conviction is not like what you believe in, okay? Belief is like, oh yeah, I think this is possible. Oh yeah, I believe in aliens, or you know what I mean? Conviction is it's already done, or I already know, right? It's that belief. Belief keeps the back door open. There's always room for doubt and belief. But it always has that little gap that can slip in on a random Tuesday, right? You can slip in, right? The door is cracked open a little bit. Conviction has no back door. Everything is locked. It's 100%. It is the confidence of knowing. You know is going to happen. You know it. Because it already, in your mind, it has already happened. It already occurred. And that's the part that breaks a lot of people's brains. Because if you're looking for external proof for you to be able to start something, that is not conviction. You can't keep waiting until you know for sure something is going to work. That's not how it works. You will never see enough evidence ever to feel certain. Okay, never. You're going to be waiting your whole life for something that's never going to show up. I'm telling you that right now. There's no other way around conviction. You need to produce a strong enough emotional conviction, right? Then it will produce external proof in your reality. It's not the other way around, okay? You have to know it before the world shows it to you. You have to know it. You have to prove it to yourself. You can only have what you already have. I know it sucks, and that's just how the world works, okay? Now, the next thing is your reactions. Your reaction is that automatic response when something goes wrong, quote unquote, go wrong. Because if you're truly embodying that frequency, then absolutely nothing can go wrong. And every reaction that you've had is like a moment where you let your external circumstances dictate your internal state. Every single time, right? Think about what that means. When something outside of you is controlling how you feel the inside of you, you just hand it over the controller. You know, you hear all these people saying, yo, just pass me the controller, bro. Hand over the controller. You're handing over the controller to somebody else to play your game, which is life. Now they're affecting life. Now they're holding power over you. And your reaction when something goes wrong, like a missed payment from your client, maybe you get a rude email, or maybe you have a bad day at the gym and you didn't perform as well. Your entire internal state flips. And then whatever you do afterwards you're going to perform at a worse state because you already produced a distortion in your signal, in your frequency. So reality feeds on your reactions. So the man who stays grounded when the screen is showing him something ugly and something that he does not want to see, right, is the guy that's going to produce the results. He's going to get there, right? He keeps his hand on the controller no matter what happens. He's not trying to pass it over. Like, nah, you play this part, bro. I don't want to play this level in the game. Here, you play this part. No, he keeps his hand on the controller. He's going to continue to play, okay? Expectations. Okay, that's number 7. I'm trying to go through it quick. Expectation is not what you hope for, is what you actually anticipate in your bones. It is that gut feeling that you have. And that makes a whole world of difference because that is the one thing that I was, rejecting for a long time. And expectation is not, think positive. It's not saying like, I hope things go well. It's expectation is, of course it's going to go well because it just works for me. This video that I'm filming right now, of course it's going to work well. Because that's my expectations, right? I don't care what happens. It's going to work well for me. It's going to work out for me. The universe will read your frequency at a default. It doesn't care what you wish will happen, okay? And that's the problem with most men nowadays. We're hoping for that body and that money to come in, but we're quietly expecting it for us to stay exactly where we are while still wanting those external results, which can't happen. You can't just be the same person and expect different results. It doesn't work that way. And the universe is going to deliver on your expectations every single time because, like I said before, you are always right. Okay? And these 7 things, these 7 attributes, they all matter. All of them matter. All of them, okay? These 7 attributes all matter. Because that make up your entire frequency. It makes up, you can call it your signal that you're broadcasting out. You can call it your frequency. You can call it your mindset. People call it your mindset. You can call it chemical X. Whatever you want to call it, you can call it. But understand that this determines everything. It determines all 4 pillars of your life. Your health, your wealth, your relationships, your spirituality, your happiness. All of that stuff, those 4 pillars, it affects it. Okay? And your frequency decides exactly which room you walk into and exactly which doors are going to be closed for you. So at the end of the day, you don't have a fitness problem. You don't have a money problem. You do not have a relationship problem. You just have to change your identity. That is just it. It's not a problem. You are not broken. It's not a problem. You just need to change your identity. Okay? It's not a problem. Stop thinking of problems, okay? It's not a problem. So let's keep going here. Because a lot of people are ambitious, right? They want the thing. But when they hear content like this, they're just like, they just try to perform the new identity, right? He learns the language. He learns that posture exactly how he needs to be. He tries to perform the confidence. But he's doing it almost like he's putting on a costume, not like he's putting on just a jacket or normal clothes. It's like he's like a clown, you know? It's like he's performative. And when he tries to take action from the man that he wants to be, you're already failing there. Because there is no trying. You have to fully embody that person, because you have to be emotionally attached to that person. You have to understand your identity, and then the results will follow, right? You can't be secretly desperate for stuff to change. You can't. It will not work that way. Because the universe is going to read your signal. It's going to read your subconscious mind, right? The language of God. And it's going to broadcast and give you exactly what you're reflecting. So it's not a performance, okay? It's be, do, have, okay? That is the law, right? You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. What you are right now. That is what you attract. It doesn't really matter, and it sucks. Which means that you just have to become it right now before the world proves it to you. You need to do it right now. Okay? You need to become it right now. And if you're a career-driven man, right, who have been experiencing burnout from your job, and you know you've been neglecting your health, the health has been the thing that has been a sacrifice. Then I work with a small amount of men to remove these exact blocks, okay? These mental blocks to increase your energy and to get you down to at least an 8 to 12% body fat percentage. So you can multiply your performance and actually live your best life. It's not about putting in longer hours in the gym or a better strategy or more motivation, okay? It's about shifting your identity. And if that's you, apply down below. The link is in the description. So now let's move on. So I know what you're thinking. If you are thinking, oh, will this work for me, right? Do I have the energy today? Then you're going about it the wrong way when it comes to your goals. Because every decision that you make, every workout, every meal, every deal that you take, every call that you get on, every conversation that you have needs to pass through just one filter. Just one filter. Not any of these, will it work for me or do I have the energy? It needs to align with you. And what I mean by align is you need to ask yourself the question, does this align with the version of me that is living in my desired reality? Does that align with me? Not, oh, I don't know, maybe. Or maybe someday in the future. That doesn't make any sense. It needs to be now because it's who you are. Okay, present tense. It's who you are already right now. That makes no sense. Remove time out of the equation. Remove time.
Sure.
It's who you are. Is it aligned with your identity, right? Or is it not aligned? You need to really understand that, okay? And of course, like I said, I know what you're thinking. Fonzie, just give me the sauce. I just want to know what to do next. I got you. I'm going to give you some game, okay? You're not going to leave the video without, some sort of action step, okay? So, the action steps, okay? So, right now, what I want you to do, right, is I want you to pick one pillar of your life, whether it's health, wealth, relationships, happiness. I want you to pick a pillar, and I want you to write the number that you want to accomplish, right? Whatever the goal is, it could be body fat percentage, it could be the weight that you want to be at, it could be the income that you want to make, it could be the dates that you want to go on, the number of dates, I don't even know, like when it comes to relationship. It could be the rating that you want to give your day. Maybe you just want to be like, in the flow state and give your day rated at 8 out of 10. I don't know. Give it a number, okay? Give it a number always, all right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to pick one attribute out of the 7 that I just gave you. It could be your beliefs, thought, perception, thoughts, attention, conviction, reaction, expectations, whatever it is, right? I want you to go through all of them and pick one that is a gap. So I'll explain, right? I want you to ask yourself, what would the man who already has this, what would he believe? How does he view it? What does he consume on a daily basis, digitally or maybe physically? What does he pay his attention to, literally with actual money? What does he know? How does he respond when things go wrong? What does he expect to happen? Right? Now, you don't have to do all of them because I don't want you to overly stress yourself. But I want you to pick one belief, all right? One belief gap that you have, that your current future identity has, that you don't. For example, in the beginning for me, I wanted to really be in great shape for my health. And my goal was 160 pounds. The gap that I realized was my perception of getting in shape and losing weight and working out, right? And eating clean. My perception was kind of warped. I didn't have the same perception as my 2.0 self. So you would go and write your 1.0 self, right? The view of the perception, for example, and he views fitness as, they used to view fitness as complicated and time consuming. That's how I viewed it. Now, the person in my desired reality, the dude that's in shape, he is not going to be thinking of it that way. If not, he just wouldn't be in shape. It makes no sense. My 2.0 self, right, what I thought, he viewed fitness as simple, and then he only has 5 habits that he does a day. And that's it. That's how he got in shape. And that's exactly what I did to shift my identity in less than 6 months. That's exactly what I did. And then just like that. Okay? So I want you guys to take action. Don't just listen to my fluff, okay? Information without implementation is entertainment. So, like I always say, guys, that's it, okay? So, like I said, let go, let God, let go, let's get it, let's go. Let's take action.